She was Miss Go-To, Miss Advice, Miss Mentor, everything. Anything you wanted to know about teaching, anything you wanted to know about kids, anything you wanted to know about Pflugerville, anything you need to know about what I could do better in my classroom, she's the person to go to.
Born and raised in Pflugerville, Texas, Verna Jean Mott graduated Pflugerville High School in 1960 as valedictorian of her class. She went on to pursue a bachelor's degree with honors in mathematics and chemistry at the University of Texas at Austin. Now, as the current president of the Pflugerville Board of Trustees, Mrs. Mott remembers her years as a longtime teacher in the Pflugerville district.
Here at Pflugerville High School, I taught physics, German, chemistry, and then all the math classes, pre-cal, algebra 2, algebra 1, geometry, fundamentals of math, and then computer science. They didn't let me coach the football team though.
She spent 35 years as a teacher, and she has just impacted so many people's lives. It's like, because of her, I became a doctor. Because of her, I became an engineer.
Now that I'm retired and I hear from my students that I taught, it is just such a blessing to see where they are today and the contributions that they are making.
Even though she has retired from teaching, Mrs. Mott's goals for the district have proven that she will never retire in her commitment to students, to educators, and to her respect for education.
Her goal, her #1 goal, is for every school to be very successful and all those kids in that school to feel very successful. So I think that's a continual goal for her.
When we look at societal issues, whether it's generational poverty, the homeless, the hunger, the thing that I've seen is that education is the means of breaking those barriers.
Mrs. Mott's commitment to education has extended to the entire Pflugerville community as well.
What impacts has she not made? She's Miss Pflugerville, and so she is at everything. The biggest thing I remember is when the city showed the performance of Grease. She went down there to judge the costumes and then immediately left to go watch Pflugerville play football. I mean, it's just like her day starts with what events are on, what schools are doing what today, and I'm going to be there.
Mrs. Mott has served as an NHS sponsor for 26 years and has helped establish the PFISD Student Leadership Program, as well as the Pflugerville Education Foundation, which bestows grants to teachers in the district. She has served as a dedicated organist and pianist at her church for 40 years, as a historian and co-author of 3 books preserving the history of Pflugerville, and as a regional director of the Texas Association of School Boards. And still, in spite of all these achievements, Mrs. Mott is known for something a bit more curious.
She is notorious, and I say that word, pleasantly. She is notorious for being able to still fit in her Pflugerville High School cheerleading uniform. And she will never turn down the chance to tell you that she can still fit in that uniform.
So I could still fit into my cheerleader outfit, so it was kind of a crazy story, but I always felt like I was a cheerleader for our students and for our school. I would go to support our students, whether it was basketball, football, track, one-act play, band competition. Students knowing that you're behind them makes a big difference. You read in today's world that there are people who aren't happy going to work. They're looking for another job, and I would say that didn't happen. I love teaching, I love the people, I love the kids most of all, when I wanted to see them succeed. Miss Mott invested so much in me as an Algebra 2 student. I remember spending many hours in her room for tutorials. Her kind heart and passion for math got me through. She has given so much to Pflugerville ISD and touched so many lives in the process. When I think back on the most influential teachers in my life, Miss Mott is at the top of the list. She was an incredible role model for me as a woman in science, and her ability to differentiate to each student in her class was unmatched. She was my most memorable teacher. I loved her and she loved her kids. She is what teachers strive to be.